All right, so this is the Big Friendly Swim podcast. Thanks for joining me. Just start things off. Could you just talk about some of your coaching history? Because I was reading that you coached at ASU for a couple of years, at Bridgeport for a few years, and at Cal State Bakersfield for a few years as well.
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the coaching route, man. It kind of led me to California. I'm actually born and raised in the Philadelphia area. That's where my heart is. I got the Philadelphia Phillies and the Eagles right now, so life is good there. I went to school in Connecticut. Went to school at Southern Connecticut State University. Graduated, and I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. And I've always coached in the summertime, but I had an opportunity to coach with one of my best friends and former teammates for a club team in Connecticut, the Trimble Pisces. And from an income standpoint, it didn't make sense to live on my own and make just the money for there. So I had to find a little supplemental job, and I ended up reaching out to the head coach at University of Bridgeport at the time, and just like, hey, listen, I know we use the Trimble Pisces, use your pool. I don't know if you have any opportunities with coaching the college team. And he wrote back like, "You're hired." and that was Brad Flood, and he literally was like, it doesn't pay that much, but it's great experience for you. So I was like, at the time, like, that I don't need a lot. I just need something to supplement. And so I started there. So I was at University of Bridgeport for 5 years, and that was awesome because the first year I was there was women's only. Then we added the men's program the year after at that school. And, to be perfectly honest, we had some major talent. And that was a really cool thing for me to be able to work with that level of talent at that program. When my first year coaching the men's team, I got the opportunity to work with a Polish breaststroker. His name was Peter Safranczak. And I mean, I'll tell you, he taught me a lot. I never will forget his quote. This sticks with me to the day. He was like, we were tapering him for like getting ready for conference and NCAAs. And he goes like, "Hey coach, like," and you got to remember, this is 2 years after graduation. So I'm like 24 years old and he's like 23 years old. Like, we're pretty much like the same age, and he's trusted me to kind of coach him. And he was like, coach, you're going to learn as much from me as I'm going to learn from you during this period. And it really stuck with me, like, kind of listening to your athletes and getting to know them and kind of see what they need. And we had a great like relationship. And next thing you know, we go to NCAAs and he wins the national championship. Next year, he follows it up, winning the national championship. And that was a lot of athletes like that at the time that I had experienced. Like Oscar Pereira was a backstroker that 3 out of the 4 years I was there. All 3 years I was there with him, he won the 100 backstroke national championship. The year after I left, he repeated. So he went all 4 years as a Division II national champion in the 100 backstroke at the time. But for me, that was kind of the start right there. Because I got a chance to coach high level athletes and, that like super fast. I mean, that was like, we look at times now and you're going like, man, so fast. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, like I was a 4IMer and like, I went like 404 and I'm like, at the time that was pretty good. Now you got like Leon going 326 and you're going, what is going on? Like, I mean, I'm slow, like, at the time you weren't slow, I was a Division II All-American, but like, it was like one of those things that sports gotten so fast. So, I think my experience at Bridgeport got me to where I kind of really started in the coaching route and kind of really, I'll tell you, that's where I got my passion for coaching college and high level athletes. So 5 years there, and then I kind of had an opportunity to kind of get my master's degree and coach at Arizona State. And, I had connections through Dan Kessler, who's a good friend of mine, who's now at NC State. And he was an assistant coach there. Position opened up, more sprint, which was my forte a little bit because I was coaching a lot of Bridgeport, mostly the sprinters and, mid distance to sprint, and the head coach was coaching more than just the distance kids. So, I got the opportunity. I got my master's degree, and I wanted to prove that I can coach in one of the best conferences in the country. You're at ASU at the time. It's like Stanford and Cal and Arizona. I mean, you're going into the pinnacle and of elite swimming. So it was great. I got out there 2 years there, and first year you got to kind of prove yourself a little bit. And our group swam really well for the sprinters, my group of 7, and then year number 2, I was pretty much coaching like 17 or 18 of them. So, the group grew and, had a great experience there. And, sometimes, it was a great experience, but I'll just being up front, like we were the staff that ended up getting replaced by Bob Bowman and his staff. So that's Bob Bowman and his staff come in there, and they're gonna, Bob's gonna put the people in the position that he wants to be there. So I kind of got let go in the process, which happens in our sport. And I had the opportunity, got the position at Bakersfield, which was great. You learned a lot there. And it's kind of one of the good things is, Bakersfield is being a CSU, and that definitely helped lead me to where I'm at today. And was my first head coaching position. And 1 year at Bakersfield, 1 year in the CSU, you learn a lot. And here we are 8 years later, still at East Bay, still happy, doing great things here, man. This is awesome. I love it here.
That's a pretty storied history. Like you've been like sort of traveled around the whole country, and it eventually looped you all the way around to California.
Yeah, it's interesting. You follow the coaching path, it's funny. My parents, like one time, I remember my dad asking me, he's we hope you eventually come back, to the East Coast, and I'm like, that's gonna be tough, man. Like I love the West Coast lifestyle. Like I said, I mean this. The heart is Philadelphia, but the lifestyle is West Coast. For me, the biggest thing, I love being able to call my office an outdoor pool. I mean, and those people that don't think about that, like sunshine. I don't care if it's 45 or 50 degrees, which is a little chilly, but being outdoors and with sun just makes your life a lot easier. And so even the winters when it's a little cold, man, being outdoors, I love it. I love it, and it's just like year round. You're not like you're seeing light. You still it's. I'm come from the East Coast, so I know what winters can be like. And I coach club, and I remember weekends where you never saw the light. You'd be on a pool deck at 6 a.m. and indoors with no windows until 8 p.m. And I don't miss those days.
So you talked about like your experience at Bridgeport and how you guys added the men's program, and that kind of got me thinking about. I actually had a conversation with you in person last fall. I'm not sure if you remember, and I asked you what happened to the men's team at East Bay.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, 89 and 90, man. I think I don't like hold me to this, but I think it was 89 and 90. I think they in that range they cut all athletics when they were going through a transition, and then instantly they brought back sports and things like that. And but men's swimming was not one of them.
and I think you told me something pretty interesting that it wouldn't take much, in your opinion, to run a D2 men's program in a Bay Area that's largely populated by Cal, Stanford, a lot of like very high end Division 1 schools. So I'm wondering if you can talk about your thinking on that, about like whether or not you wish that the men's program would be reinstated, and like how you'd go about running like both programs, like with a
Well,
hypothetical men's program.
yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing: is like obviously, I think as a former college athlete, that a Division 2 athlete, um, I think having a men's program in general, you want opportunities, and California is loaded with swimming programs, and not just female swimming programs, male swim. Like this is club from a club standpoint. There's a lot of men that swim, and California doesn't have a lot of opportunities, and a lot of so you have to go out of state. So obviously, there's obviously your Cal and Stanford, but it's just like anything else. Like we have all different levels and abilities, right? And like someone like myself would not have been able to swim at Cal or Stanford, um, and so you look for opportunities. And sometimes I look at a school like us, like that's centrally located in the Bay Area, and there's the amount of club programs surrounding you. I'm sure there's plenty of kids that like would want that opportunity to swim in college and would want to stay more local. And so you wish for it, but obviously, it's one of those things that like there's no there like from the landscape of it, men's swimming is one of those sports with Title IX that has always has struggled over the years, and just bringing it back a program or having a program is very difficult in this era that we're living in right now. I mean, even with just the school system and all that, adding a sport is just very, very difficult. If we had it here, hypothetically, like you said, I don't think recruiting would be as difficult because there's less opportunity. I think there's a lot of people that would love the opportunity to, hey, let's swim in a Division II program in California. I mean, right now I'm trying to think. We have in our conference, you got Biola and Concordia, Santa Cruz, three men's programs there. I know I'm going to blank on this right now. It's weird when you coach women, like the men when the men are swimming, I'm taking a break. I'm like, all right, now I can go talk to them after the races. Meet slows down. But I mean, like I said, it's great, but look at the men's heats. There's 3 or 4 heats, right? And then women's heats, there's 9 or 10 or 12, and so there's a big difference. But I mean, obviously, I think for opportunity, I think it would be awesome to have a men's team anywhere. You have San Jose State. That'd be awesome if they had one there. University Pacific does have one. UC Davis, women's only. Another school out here that has it. Nevada Reno, another school that we swim. No men's program. So you can see that there's those are a lot of the Northern California schools. Just not a lot of opportunity. I mean, then you go above us and. There's not many swimming programs in general with like the other CSUs. So like the Stanislavs, the Chicos, all the schools that are in our conference for other sports, the CCA, they just don't even sponsor swimming. So, in a way, you got to be grateful that we still have women's swimming being a CSU school.
That kind of leads me into my next question of like, with there being such a lack of swimming programs when you go further up in California, and just the dominance, I guess, of like Division I programs in California, what are the typical schools that you guys compete against? Considering, like, I think in the Bay Area, at least going a little bit further south, the closest school that isn't a Division I school is Santa Cruz.
Yep. Yeah. No. I mean, so it's kind of, for me, it's actually kind of a good thing. Because one of the big things I tell our team and our program is basically like, you want to be a top Division II program, you got to be able to compete with the Division I mid-major programs. And so, we have Santa Cruz, and we were actually just there last weekend. And, a lot of our schools from our conference, Santa Cruz, Biola was there. We had Masters University. We had Simpson, Soka. Some of the schools from LA came up, and which is great. Fresno Pacific was there, who's in our conference. That's another close one, men and women, which is only like 3 hours away. But, yeah, so for that standpoint, you have some local, but also it makes you compete against them. So we swim San Jose State every year. We swim UC Davis and Nevada Reno this weekend. I mean, those are very good programs that are keep on getting better and raising their standards. And for me, that's something that's really good, because as you're preparing for not just conference but hopefully the NCAA championship, you're racing those athletes. And if you can go into a dual meet against UC Davis and Nevada Reno and compete against them, you can compete against anybody. And that's kind of my mindset, is it really prepares you. We're going into this weekend. It's like, you're going to have to step up. You're going to have to compete. I mean, both those teams are very deep and talented, but it gives you the opportunity. You can learn a lot. And that's the big thing for me, is like learning a lot. Like you're not always going to be the top dog every time you race. You're going to have to learn how to race. You're going to have to learn how to compete. And, that's a big thing for us.
That's a pretty similar, like, I guess, method that like my coach follows, that Jason follows. Throughout our season, we swim against, because we're in the Coast Conference, and we swim against teams in the Big 8 conference, like Santa Rosa College, Sierra College, yep. All teams that are significantly faster than us or have more depth than us. I mean, not significantly, but they're faster than us. And it's always the method of like swim against teams that are faster, and then when you come to our conference, like our men's team was conference champions last year, and they were like for like 6 of the 7 years before that. And our women's team placed second this year with only 8 swimmers, beating out teams that were like twice the size. So it's a method that I think works, of swim against teams that are faster, and then the puzzle pieces will fall into place when it comes down to like the big championship meet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things like think about a boxer just training and never getting hit. What are you gonna do when you get hit? You know what I mean? That's really it. Like imagine just like building your schedule out easy, and then all of a sudden you go to conference and it's not easy, and you're like, wait a second, I actually I think it's funny sometimes. People everyone comes from different places, right? But there used to be places where you can just not compete in the morning and make it back for finals and just try, then some people aren't used to racing in the morning, and now it's like you want a spot in the championship final at conference, you got to race in the morning. You got to get a spot top 8. You got to get a spot top 16. You got to compete in the morning, and so you can swim at night. And that's like little things like you got to practice that stuff. It's not just given to you. So it's like for us, it's like preparation for what's to come and being prepared for the big meets.
For some guys on our team, it's almost like the opposite. At least it was like that for to give you an example, it was like that for Ashley at a lot of our in-season meets. She'd have to swim really hard in the morning. Like we went to a Santa Rosa prelims and finals meet. She had to swim hard in the morning because she had competition. And then we got to conference and she could basically be guaranteed third seed if she just swam to a second off of her entry time.
Yep. Yeah, it is funny how it works, but you're prepared, right? You're like, all right, now I can actually relax for you guys in that situation. For us, especially at the NCAA meet, oh man, you got to be ready to go. But in the same sense too, for me at the NCAA meet, in Division II, if you can go repeat what you did at conference, you even if you're the 27th person, usually it's what it took to get invited that can make it back to top 16. And so for us, it's being able to repeat and train that stuff, which is, I've always I've been fortunate in my years here is most of the time we get faster at conference, and then we even get faster or maintain at NCAAs, which is not easy to do. So I also joke about it, but it's also when we go to NCAAs, it's the best pool we swim in all season. So you've been to East LA College, and it's nice facility. We swim fast there, but it's not like any other facility across the country where you're basically an aquatic center. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, no, the East LA College is it's serviceable, but compare it to Indianapolis or Omaha, any of these big pools that they've held amazing meets at, and it's it doesn't hold a candle to it.
Absolutely, we use that as ammo when we go there. It's hey, this is the fastest pool you're gonna swim in all season, so let's get faster now.
So speaking of Indianapolis and NCAAs this season, so break down for me the successes of this most recent season. You had 5 athletes at Indianapolis, and I believe 2 individual swims and 3 people there for relays.
2 and 4. We had 6. We had 6. 2 individuals, which was up 1 from the year prior to that. We were 1 relay, 1 individual. Last year we were 2 individuals and 2 relays. We didn't have the best luck at conference last year. We probably broke a record of DQing relays, which we DQ'd 3 out of our 5A relays at conference, which is unheard of. That's kind of a joke still in the conference that that's that's a record that's never going to be broken. So I mean, and it wasn't for lack of practice. You want it. We wanted it really bad, and we were. I think we had opportunities, especially in the 8 free relay, to qualify that relay, but things happen. So, you don't look, you look to move forward from that. But we got the NCAAs, and both relays were top 16, which is awesome. Brooklyn was top 10, and I think she was 10th in both races last year at NCAAs. And Kylie, who qualified, repeated her performance in the morning and made it back in her 4 IM. So she got a night swim at NCAA's All-American honors. And that was awesome. I mean, and I'll tell you this is, and I think any Division II coach or even Division I coach out there, Division I, II, III, anybody that goes to NCAA's, having that experience is huge for the next time you get there. I mean, because it's a big meet, it's a different atmosphere, and it's one of those, once you get that experience, gets you hungry. First year you might go there and be happy. Second year you're like, I want to go there and do something. And then if you're fortunate and you have more years of eligibility, and now it's what can I do? I mean, Claire Beatty, probably one of the most decorated swimmers that we've had through here. Second place, Olympic. She got second place at the NCAAs in the two breasts. She also was made Olympic trials as my former assistant coach. But Claire, like she was one of the ones that kind of taught me that. Like, I mean, like the first year, I remember watching her two breasts, and she got to the meet and she was like, I want a trophy. And I literally remember like she's like, I want it, and you can see it, and I'm like, all right, great. She like got fourth in prelims, and I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. Here we go. Like, what can you do at final? And then she got eighth, and I was like, not mad about it. I go, but you were just happy to be there. And she looked at me and goes, you're right. I was like, I accomplished that. And then we changed that mindset and kind of went into it as like, all right, what can we do there this year? And I think that's kind of the same thing that we have with Brooklyn and Kylie and all the relays. It's like, hey, we were top 10, we were top 16 and a lot of our events last year, but like, I don't think any of us are satisfied with top 16. I think we want to be in top 8. And I do think we have relays and pieces and individual swims that can be top 8. I think we're making that progress. I mean, I'll tell you, from a culture standpoint, this team's definitely special. There's some talent on paper, but there's a group that really wants to do well this year. And it like, I'll tell you, it's been fun thus far this season.
So, sort of going back in time a little bit and like going past just this past season, you've obviously been there for 8 years. You're heading into your 9th season.
It's in my 8th.
Okay, you're going into your 8th. So
Yeah.
at this point, you've definitely had the time where you've built a legacy there, and you've built a program of like one that's continuing success each passing year. How has your approach changed with each season? Like, how is going into this season in specific, has your approach changed compared to like your second or your third season with the team?
Well, I think I'm a competitive person. I don't think I like in general I'm competitive, and I don't ever want to be stagnant. I think I've always seen the potential and the writing on the wall for this program to be top 15, and we were top 15 one year. We got 14th. I think that was the highest in program history. I think that was my second year. Then we went through the COVID bump, which I think affected a lot of people. It definitely hurt us in the sense of we weren't able to compete at all that year. Even our conference had a conference championship and everything like that. So I think that set us, I don't want to say set us back, but, it was a little bump in the road that you have to deal with. And I think we're building off that now. But I mean, for me, like, you learn a lot over the years, but, never like always learning, always growing. Don't be complacent. Like for me, it's like, all individual swimmers have their own goals. And I always say that your goals are my goals, like, and I tell them it's okay to dream because because I want to work towards those dreams rather than just little things. I think the little things come along the way. But like, if you have big goals, like don't be afraid to say them. Don't be afraid to say them. And that doesn't have to be a 1-year plan. Let's work for it over a 4-year period and see if we can get there. But don't be afraid to think about it. Don't be afraid to dream it, because like, I think deep down, I think sometimes we're afraid to say what our dreams really are. Like, and then like if we don't get them, well, then we failed. But it's like most of the times if you set those big dreams, you're having success along the way, and you might not ever hit that ultimate, but you're gonna get pretty close, or you work towards that where you're gonna be pretty satisfied at the end of it. So for me, like, I'm very happy with what we've done, but I still want to do better, and I still want to grow. I still think there's a lot more to give and a lot more for our program to do. And so that's kind of, for me, my mindset is, finding athletes that share that same vision.
I think it's there's like the acronym of goal setting, and I am blanking on what it is, but it's like setting in like it's smart goal setting. Right? And I'm blanking on what each part of the acronym means. But I remember my coach telling me about it in high school. But just like off the top of my head, it's like setting goals that are measurable and reasonable, and like have like a specific time. Like, I'm going to be here at this point. I'm going to be here at this point. I think that's a good like method to go off of like, here's where I want to be, here's where I am now, here's where I can be halfway to where I want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for like straight up, I mean, I want to someday be able to have a trophy, and that's top four. Top four gets to lift the hardware, but like we're 21st last year at NCAs. All right, like I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, we're going to be top four this year. No, but do I think we can be top 15? Yeah. Do I think we can consistently be top 15? Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. And once you start, like, it's like anything else. Like once you start, you know, performing at that level, people see that level, and then you can recruit the higher level athlete that's like, I want to go there, and that's coming in, versus like, when I first started here, you might have, you had a lot of 156, 158, 200 freestylers, hey, I want to come to East Bay. Cool, great, love it. Now you have 154, 155s or 153s. Like, hey, now I want to come. And then you take that 153 and you make them a 148. Now you're looking at a top 8 swimmer, a top 16 swimmer, And so it's like you have to develop no matter where you go. But it's like also, taking a 200 to a 148 that's going to be a pretty darn good success story. and that's not that those don't come around often. They're trust me, they're out there. They're out there, but those are harder. Those are harder to find. And I know we mentioned this earlier, but like, it's going to be harder to attract a 148 200 freestyle, just using that example, to Cal State East Bay, because that 148 swimmer is getting scholarship offers to go to all these different schools, and sometimes you're going to have a hard time having a conversation.
I think it almost becomes like a ripple effect of once you have that beginning successes and it grows and it grows and it grows, it attracts more people, and then they'll have more success and they'll attract more people. But it takes time. It's not going to be like, oh, we're going to go from 21st to top four. We'll go from 21st to 15th to 10th to, like, it's a ripple effect, and it takes some time to develop.
Absolutely. And that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's
Oh
okay.
yeah.
So
I mean, our men's program at Las Positas, we went from, I think our best finish in program history was like fourth or fifth, like years ago, like in 2016, 2015. And then this year we hadn't had a state champion in like 5 years or something. This year we had one guy win 2 state titles. We had another guy get like third in the 400 IM or the 500, and it was like the team finished like fourth. So it was either the highest in program, or it was like tied for the highest. But
yeah.
it was that rebuilding period of through COVID, getting back to that point of now. Okay, here's where we're at. Here's where we can go from here. Like going into this next season, like men's team obviously probably wants to get like third or second even, like. But it's just building.
You're hungry for more, man.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. Staying hungry is a good thing.
All right, well, we are just about out of time, but before I let you go, I always give time for people at the end of interviews to just promote something of their choice. Like it could be like straight up plugging Instagram or just anything you want.
Man, that's a tough one. I don't even know. I mean, like, for me, we have our East Bay swim. Our team's doing fun things this year, but I mean, I feel like this is gonna be the wrong place, but I gotta plug my Philadelphia sports right now. All right, I mean, watch those Phillies right now, red hot. I mean, like I tell my teams, like, just in general, like I love swimming, I love coaching, but like true passion of mine is Philadelphia sports. Like that's like that is up there, and it's like right now it's like I look at the athletes, I look at the city, and like that, like right there, like we talk about culture. Philadelphia, there's a culture right now, and especially that baseball team, like Bryce Harper. You watch everything he's doing right now. It's fun. Like even as a coach, just watching like how a city, how his teammates, how everyone like feels that energy, like builds off that energy. Like it's kind of funny. It's comparing sports, and it's the same thing we just talked about a little bit, but like fast swimming is contagious, right? You watch your teammates swim fast, it gives you. I mean, that's like right now in the Phillies postseason. Like you just like you love watching it, and the city itself, man, that's like there's a culture right there. So, but no, man, I appreciate what you're doing. You're doing some big things too. I mean, I was like when I saw that you like reached out to me, I'm like, here we have a student at Cal State East Bay that's interviewing DeSorbo and Braden Holloway, and I'm like, man, look at and some top level athletes. I'm like, look at you getting out there in the swimming world. That's an awesome thing. I was like shocked by it. Like my cousin went to NC State and swam under Braden, so it's like. I thought that was really cool to kind of watch your interviews and the fact that you're getting connected in the swimming community like that with some big time guys. Like I'm just a small guy in some of your interviews, but I think it's really cool what you're doing.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it a lot. I mean, I've been surprised by the amount of people who've said yes to me just from asking politely, and it's been like a similar ripple effect of the more big names that have agreed to sit down with me, the easier it's been to get more people to be like, "Oh yeah, I'll sit down for an interview with you." And then actually, I'll drop by the pool one of these days, and I have a sticker for you.
Nice.
I
I can't
have I
wait.
have Big Friendly Swim podcast stickers that I give out to everybody that I interview.
I
So
love it.
I'll
I
I'll
want
drop
that
by the
sticker.
pool and get one to you.
Absolutely. You know where to find me.
Yeah.
You're on this. You're right here, man. It's like I said, it's cool. I mean, are you how now you've been here? Is this your second year at East Bay or 2 year
Yeah. This
first?
is my second year at East Bay. This is my third semester.
Are you enjoying your time here from coming from your junior college?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but I think I'm ready to. I'm applying to transfer for my master's next year, just
Nice.
because I need to get out of the Bay Area. I've been here
Listen,
10 years. I've been here 10 years, so I just need a change of scenery.
100%. I think that's honestly for anybody. I think change of scenery is always a good thing. Like, I mean, and that's just one of those things that you've seen like over the years. Like, just sometimes change of scenery is the best thing for you. And for you, like, go get your master's degree somewhere else. I mean, that was me at University of Bridgeport. I started there for 5 years. I had a lot of success. I loved it. I loved the team, but I also kind of needed to see something different, experience something different, and look where it led me. Go 2 years on the West Coast in Arizona. Now here I am on the West Coast for the last 10 plus years, and I love it. So you never know, man. You never know what's out there for you.
It's kind of interesting. Like COVID almost gave me like a extension on my swimming career, and it kept me here longer because you're only supposed to get 2 years of community college like eligibility. I ended up with four. I swam 2020, 2021, and then my first year of eligibility I used was 2022, and then my last year was this year. So like
Well,
I'm at this point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to move on and do something and be somewhere else than the Bay Area. But I mean, we'll see what happens.
no, that's great, man. Well, best of luck with everything. But I look forward to you stopping by,
Yeah.
coming to the pool deck.
When are you guys when do you guys like hold, or when are you on deck that I can stop by and bring you a sticker?
Well, I don't know what your schedule is, but tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 4, we'll be there. Or Friday afternoon, 1 to 3, in that range. We're there. You can pretty much stop by at any time. I'm there quite a lot. That's the home away from home. If the gate's open, come on in and say hi.
All right, I'll see you around sometime this week or next week then.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I appreciate you taking the time to interview me today. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I appreciate you sitting down with me. You have a good rest of your day.
You too, man. Take care.
Bye.
It's funny.
Um,
There's a winery out here in Pleasanton or Livermore, Pleasanton, and I feel like one or two of your former teammates. Like, I don't know how long ago you were swimming there, but they were swimmers there. I walked in there one time and they're like, "Are you a coach?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Are you the head swim coach at Cal State East Bay?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and I was like, she was like, "I think I know you," and I was like all like caught off guard, like, "No, you don't," and then it was like, "Well, maybe you do know me."
You know, it's really funny. Yesterday when I posted on my story that I was gonna be interviewing you, Ashley Sand like responded to it and was like, "No way."
Yeah, Ashley, obviously Mark, her dad runs the club team here. So Mark's an awesome guy, and Ashley and Cassie and that whole crew, they swim with my master's team. So I always joke with Ashley. I'm like, like, dude, like, here you go, let's go, keep it going. She had a great year for you. She had a great year last year for you guys.
Oh yeah, she went I think like 220 something in the two breast, and then like 106 or 105 in the 100.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, she had a great year.
Now she's at Santa Barbara, right? Living the life at
Yeah,
UC Santa Barbara.
she's at
Yep,
Santa
yeah.
Barbara. A few of our teammates are down there with her too, so they got a little crew down there.
There you go. I love it. I love it, man. That's pretty cool.
All right, well, I'm ready to start whenever you are. I think all
Whenever
my
you are,
audio stuff is squared away.
everything look good on my end. I never know through Zoom.
Oh no, yeah, you're all good.
All right, man. Cool.
All right.